you tell them what will happen, and you tell them the remedies for it, they don't listen. It's going to be the same way it always was. When my grandfather died in the Second World War, and my uncle died in the Korean War, and my cousin died in the Vietnam War, it's always going to be the same. And well, I got news for you. The America that you know is gone. We'll be lucky if we could emulate the 1950s. And that's when I grew up, and it was not an easy job. I mean, you couldn't find a job. You had to get connected. And a lot of young people took jobs they didn't want, and they got stuck in them for life. I can tell you piles of stories about that. But that's where we're headed. Many of you people will never, ever work again. They sent your probable jobs off to China or someplace. It's over. You'll eventually end up in an internment camp. And they'll starve you to death. You get sick and they won't treat you. You know, your people just don't get it. These people are playing for everything. They want to win and enslave you. Those of you who are young and not ill. Just like in ancient Egypt and in Rome, they did the same thing. So that's where we're headed. I hope that a year from November that Ron Paul can get elected with people like him in office, and then maybe we can make some changes. But in lieu of that, and if that doesn't exist, because he doesn't win, your goose is cooked. And you either stay and live like an animal, or get out of the country. Because that's how bad it's going to get. You haven't seen wage and price controls yet. You haven't seen the blocking of currencies. You haven't seen government prying into every corner of your life. It's awful. And that's the way it's going to end up. Because you people didn't do your job. All those people who died in all those wars died for absolutely nothing. Of course, the wars were all scams anyway. So, that's all I get to say about that.
Hey everybody, Dutch Sense here. It is November 18th, 2011, at about 11 o'clock in the morning, right before noon here. And I'm going to be doing a radiation test today. I already did it once, and I got about 200 counts per minute, or more, on the particles that were in my air collector here. Now this is a ionic breeze air collector. Here it is. Okay, it's the standard ionic breeze. It's completely cleaned off. I went and wiped it down completely. And so what you do is you put this into this, and an electric charge passes through. As the air passes by the plates, the electric charge pulls the particulate matter out of the air and onto these metal plates. And then you wipe the plates off, and you can put it back in and reuse it. So I just got several hundred counts per minute on the matter that's been collecting in here. I just thought to go check it. It started producing this plasma, a purple, well, electrically charged plasma that was going up and down this, and it was appearing inside of my ionic breeze here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Okay. Alright, it's still doing it. Even though this is totally clean, it's pulling. There's something in the air today here that's causing it to do this as the air passes by these little wires here. It's fully charging out here.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Friday, November 18th, 2011. I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com, ggnonline.com, and on YouTube it's ddarko2012. Also on Facebook you can join the Global Government News group, over 100 members there. Besides that, I'm going to get going here, get through the economy, which is going to be very brief. You just heard Bob Chapman, a very insightful individual, who tends to know his stuff, and he's basically laying it out there for you. You know, if you're still here like me in the United States, I'm ready for Beyond Thunderdome or something, man. Mad Max. I've had dreams about it, about, you know, cannibals going around in the street, just nothing, ice, you know, a lot of ice, a lot of snow, almost like an ice age. I've had a lot of dreams about stuff like that, and I think it's coming, and I'm going to be here for it, because to me, it's going to be interesting. I do believe in reincarnation. I think I've been here many times, and I think this is my purpose, is to be in this cesspool that we know is the United States of America, the corporation. So we have 35 facts about the gutting of America's industrial might that should make you very angry. And I'm going to just skip these first two. I'll go through the first 5, but then I'm going to move on for time's sake, because I have plenty of interesting articles to get to. It says here, the following are 35 facts of the gutting of America's industrial might that should make you very angry. It says, number 1, according to the U.S. Representative Betty Sutton, America has lost an average of 15 manufacturing facilities a day over the last 10 years. Sadly, it looks like this trend is picking up momentum. During 2010, an average of 23 manufacturing facilities a day were shut down in the United States. And of course, they get paid taxpayer dollars to move overseas to do that. So since they have an incentive to do this, and of course they have free trade, that's i.e. slave labor in other countries like in Asia and that, so that you know, they don't have to actually pay someone a living wage, someone that could actually live a fruitful, productive, healthy lifestyle. But they don't want to do that. They don't give a crap. But they'll say it in their little catchy little commercials, won't they? When the volume goes up 10 times the level of the programming, right? Quote, programming, and the commercials come on and it just blasts out your ears. Oh, they're saying very nice words and very subtle colors and everything like that. And it says here, since 2001, the U.S. has lost a total of more than 56,000 manufacturing facilities. Lastly, according to the Economic Policy Institute, the U.S. economy loses approximately 9,000 jobs for every 1 billion of goods that are imported from overseas. I guess I'll just do this one and finish up. The United States had a negative trade balance every single year since '76. That's after what? Ooh, Nixon went over to China. He was what was he saying? It was one of the gems or something like that, diamonds or in the rough or some crap like that. But basically, he's talking about trade and slave labor with Asia and China. And since the time, the United States has run a total deficit of more than 7.5 trillion. Okay, so we saw that. And, you know, Bob Chapman, yeah, he was talking about it, the 50s and finding a job. I did not know that. I always thought the 50s were, you know, bountiful and everything. But for someone who actually lived through it, he's probably right. I mean, that's kind of scary, dude, when you think about it. You know, we're always taught, like us, you know, I was born in 80. And, you know, I've always, had this thing about, well, if I were to choose a time I'd live, you know, I'd like to be in the 50s or the 20s. And it's kind of weird, but either way, it was the 50s, right? Because the 50s are great and everything, but it is kind of interesting that there were actually, you had to know somebody to find a job. And so now you got all these people that are unemployed, and he's right, they will never work again. And this is known. Analysis have put together numbers and say these people are going to be out of work forever. And those are what they call useless eaters, and they do need to do something about that. It says here 1 through 30, the coming U.S. financial crisis by the numbers. And okay, it says for fiscal year 2011, the U.S. federal government had a budget deficit. I'm not going to go through this because I have some interesting stuff to get to. We know this economy is rigged. I'm not going to waste my time right now because I have a lot more important stuff to get to. Middle class areas shrinking in U.S. as study number of middle income neighborhoods in the United States has dwindled significantly over the past 40 years as rich-poor divide deepens across the country. Study released Wednesday. Yeah, you could actually see pictures of these ghost towns, these little rural towns that used to survive off local business, right, and even bartering. And they're gone. They're just ghost towns. U.S. Child poverty rate soars to 32%. Then we have this. So we're going to help the children, right? And this is what it was. I gotta wait for this because it's kind of slow. But Children in Need live, rolling covers, the Children in Need 2011 live from the BBC. So it's got all your programming icons and stuff like that, all in black, and it's all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I don't know half these people. It's more of a British thing. But either way, look at who I found. The first thing I thought I saw was this, and I know that this is from the Danger, whatever his name is, the bear. From a cartoon, and the creator died, but look at how the thing over his eye, like her. It's kind of interesting, I thought, you know, the Eye of Horse and all that. So they're helping out the children, the poverty rate. Yuan may replace dollar in 10 years. Then look at this, I found coming across looking for news. Apple App Store to accept payments in Yuan. So Apple Incorporated is now accepting payment in Chinese Yuan for users' App Store downloads. So moving on here. Still interesting news to get to. Critics blast new ECB, European Central Boss, EU banker coup d'etat, which it basically was. Ex-Goldman Sachs chief and regular attendee at the secret Bilderberg meetings as it continues to buy up more government bonds with newly created money. So then we have Italy's new prime minister promises change. Well, change, right? Oh, no, it's the same old shit. He's a Bilderberg grouper. He's a trilateral commission. Oh, and he's in a leading think tank. So not much going to change there, guys. Feds, and of course, he predicted the crisis. Why? Because him and his buddies invented it. They created it so that the douchebags like him could come in there. Been meaning to cover this. I don't have time, but 61 whales die in New Zealand in mass stranding. 61. How electromagnetic frequency filters can protect your home. So you saw a Dutch sentence with one of those filters for radiation and that. So go in there and check that out. Some information out there to help keep you safe, I guess, if it's keep you safe as you can get. Toronto Zoo puts the kibosh on gay penguin agenda. Then birth rate continues to slide among teens to the lowest level. And says a decline in experts. Oh, the experts attribute to more effective sex education at kindergarten and effects of a tough economy. Of course, that's what? Social engineering, to get people to not want to have babies because they can't afford it. Why? Because they have to go out and get a job, depend on what? Bankers, depend on social engineers, depend on government to run their lives. Whereas before, you could be on a farm, you could be whatever, you had your own well, you had water, you had your own food, your livestock. You don't care. Nothing else affects you except the family. And now you can't even have family. And if you do, and you have a, quote, job, it's not a living wage. You can't even support not only your generation, but the next generation. So it says here, macho guys more accepting of safe sex. So turn around the usual stereotype of macho testosterone-laden guys making risky life choices. A new study finds that young men with higher levels of sex hormones are likely to accept safe sex practices. So this is just my personal opinion, but I don't think it's so much that they're so macho. I think it's that they're so scared to be able to have a child. I don't have a child because financially I'm not going to have one. Maybe eventually I will, but at this point in time I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not, going around having sex every single day with a different partner. But either way, so it's funny that the macho guys are actually scared to have children. So it says here, syphilis rates drop, but STDs still a big problem. Of course it is, because why? They want to sterilize people so you can't have kids. 16, too old for model career, young girls told. Agency describes 16-year-olds as too old. So let's look into the background. Fake breasts, age 4, beauty pageant mother sparks outrage by boosting her daughter's chest and bottom. That's right. Next up, we have pageant mom defends giving 8-year-old Botox and virgin waxes. So too young, right? I wonder what they're trying to build towards. Who's telling them that they need to do this? The parents, somebody, the culture. Oh, the culture industry, right? Straight out of communist Russia. Dior show features bare supermodel bumps. So these little models want to be like these big models, right? Then next up, Crotchless thongs for kids. A store called Kids and Teen has removed crotchless underpants from its displays due to outrage. Next up, Dakota Fanning Oh, Lola perfume ad is banned. That's right, there's the picture of her right here between her. The programming icon Pippa might be pregnant, and right, so whatever she does, other people are going to do, flying off the shelves. The pants that give you the Pippa look, the big bun pads. Fifth worker at House of Horrors abortion clinic pleads guilty to murder, snapping the spines. New mothers are eating their own placenta. Then Pepsi shareholders demand companies stop using aborted fetal cells in flavor research. Do aborted babies enhance the flavor of your food? Then next up, and this ad was banned. Remember, it's about spreading global love. So they're not actually against this. This is the Pope. This guy represents a Luciferian cult. So they want to get some legal action to pay for their child abuse cases. Then they visit the home of voodoo. See, the home of voodoo. Thank you.